Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss exempted incomes which do not form the part of income, that is part 2. As we have studied part 1 in previous video, the link which is available in the description box. And before going into the discussion, please subscribe the channel by hitting the bell icon. Now, section 10, educational scholarship. Any amount which is received as educational scholarship is exempted from income tax. Here, educational scholarship is nothing but the cost, which means the expenditure of education. See, it is the amount of scholarship which is provided by the government to the person who wants to study. So, it is an income to such kind of individual. That means the person who wants to study. So, upon that income, the individual need not pay the income tax. The meaning of educational scholarship is I have written here. And section 10 subsection 17, daily allowance to a member of parliament. This is also an exempted from income tax. Any amount of daily allowance received by the member of parliament is exempted from income tax in the hands of member of parliament. That means after deduction of tax itself, the amount is going to be the member of parliament. So in the hands of member of parliament, there is no payment of income tax upon daily allowance as they are public servants. Then section 10 subsection 17a, awards. Payments received shall be exempted from tax if it is related to any award instituted in the public interest. If anybody receives any awards in the public interest, then they are exempted. As we all know that section 10 deals with the exemptions which do not form a part of income. So in that part, this also comes. What is this? Pension to gallantry award winner. Under this is the first point. Pension received by the individual and who was the employee of central government or state government. That means the person who was the employee of the central government or state government, if he receives an gallantry award, then there is no need to pay the tax. Then second point, who was the awarded with Paramveer Chakra and Mahavir Chakra or any other notified gallantry award is exempt from tax. Then section 10 subsection 19, family pension received by the family members of the armed forces. If any pension is being received by the family members of the armed forces is also exempted in the hands of such family members from the assessment year 2005 to 2006. Then, section 10 subsection 22b, income of a news agency. The news agency's income also need not pay the income. Section 10 subsection 23a, income of a professional association. Any income from any professional association is exempt from income tax. It excludes income of house property, income rendering any specific, or income by way of interest or dividend on investment, basing on the following conditions. Based on the following conditions, it will be deciding that whether we have to pay income tax or not. See, professional institutions for the purpose of control, supervision, regulation, or encouragement of the profession of law, medicine, accountancy, engineering, architecture, or other notified profession. The next condition is the institution applies its income or accumulates it for application solely to the objects which it is established. If any institution is obtaining income, then it will be used for what purpose it has started. That means the amount is to be utilized only with the objective for what it is established. The next condition is the institution is approved by the central government by general or specific order. Next, section 10 subsection 23 triple A, income of a fund established for welfare of employees. The name itself is saying that if you receive any fund which is established for welfare employees, then there is no need of paying income tax. Section 10, subsection 23b, income from khadi or village industry. So if you receive an income from khadi or village industry, then it will be exempted from income tax based on some conditions. Now, section 10, subsection 23c, income of a fund or trust. Any income received by any person on behalf of fund, a trust, or any institution, or any university, or any other educational institution, hospital, institution specified under Section 23, subsection C of Income Tax Act 1961 is exempted from income tax. If you receive any fund, if here U is nothing but if our educational institution or any other university or any other trust is receiving any fund, then it is exempted from income tax. Next, section 10, subsection 23d, income from mutual fund. Now let's see what's there in it. Any income derived from the mutual fund registered under SEBI Act 1992. See, if you want to invest in mutual funds, then it should be registered under SEBI Act 1992. A mutual fund set up by the public sector bank or public financial institution authorized by RBI. These are the two conditions if you want to exempt income tax from paying when you derive income from mutual fund. Then section 10, subsection 23EA, income notified investor protection fund. In this, we are going to study whether investment protection fund is also subjected to income tax or not. Obviously, it is an exempted because we are studying all the incomes which do not form part of a total income. That means we are not going to pay tax on such kind of incomes. Now let's see. Any income derived from any notified investor fund set up by Commodities Exchange in India is exempt from tax. Section 10, subsection 23FF, capital gains on account of transfer of an Indian company on account of relocation. Let's see what is it. Any income derived from capital gains arising or received by non-resident. That means if non-resident receives any income from capital gains on the basis of relocation, then the consequence will be what? It is exempted from income tax. Now let's see other section. Section 10, subsection 24, income of a registered trade union. See, we know what are trade unions, and we have to know the fact about whether trade unions registered or not. If the trade unions have registered, then it will get some fund. If that fund is the income of trade union, and that income you need not pay tax, as the fund is used for the purpose relating to what objective it has established. So here, income of a registered trade union is exempted from income tax. Now let's see what's inside of the definition. Any income derived from the house property and from other sources of registered trade union with the meaning of Trade Unions Act 1926. So, and it is also for the purpose of regulating the relation between workmen and employers is exempt from income tax. We can understand that trade union is maintained to regulate the relations between the employees and employers, that is workmen and employers, is exempt from tax. Basically, we all know that trade unions are for working workmen and employers for procuring their rights or protecting their rights. These trade unions has come into existence. If they are registered, then income derived by them is exempt from income tax. Now let's see section number 10 subsection 25. Income of a provident fund. Any income received from recognized provident fund by a trustee is exempted from income tax. Any income which is received in the form of employee provident fund or any kind of provident fund which is to be received by an individual is exempt from income tax. Next, section 10, subsection 26, income of a scheduled tribes. The name itself is saying that income which is earned by the scheduled tribes is exempted from income tax, but it should satisfy some conditions. They are: if the member resides in any area, if the income of a scheduled tribes want to get exempted, then it has to satisfy one of the following conditions. They are: first one, the member in any area in the state of Nagaland, Manipur, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, or districts of North Kachar Hills, Mikir Hills, Jainitia Hills, and Garo Hills. If the scheduled tribes are staying in these places, then the income of scheduled tribes is going to be exempted. Next, section 10 subsection 32, income of a minor is also exempted from income tax. Should be clubbed with the, or else it should be clubbed with the parent's income, as such income is not taxable under the income tax. The income of a minor should be clubbed with the parent income, but it should not be taxed. Next, section 10 subsection 34A, income buyback of shares. Any income arises to an assessee being a shareholder on account of buyback of shares, then it is exempt from income tax under section 115Q. Section 10 subsection 39, income from international sporting event. See, further from the assessment year 2006 to 2007, any specified income of notified person arising from an international sporting event held in India is exempt from tax. What is it? If any individual is notified that from participating in international sporting event, then if he ascertains an income, then he is exempt from income tax. Now let's see what is reverse mortgage. We'll study reverse mortgage under section 10 subsection 43. Any amount received by an individual as a loan, either in lump sum or in installment in a transaction of reverse mortgage, then it shall be exempted from income tax. Section 10 subsection 47. It contains the exemption of income of a notified infrastructure debt fund. If you receive any fund like infrastructure debt fund, then it will be exempted from income tax. Now let's see what contains in section 10 subsection 48B. See, it contains the information regarding the leftover stock of crude oil. See, exemption of income of a foreign company from sale of leftover stock of crude oil. See, if there is any crude oil left behind, then the income tax department is giving an exemption of payment of income tax. Or else, if income tax is also be exempted on the termination of agreement. Right. Next, now we'll see section 10 subsection 48. Exemption of income of foreign company from sale of crude oil in India. If you sell crude oil in India, then if you ascertain any income, then you will be exempted from paying of income tax if you satisfy the following conditions. First condition is the income as to the agreement entered into by central government approved by the central government. The foreign company is not engaged in any activity other than receipt of such income in India. Then now section 10 subsection 49, exemption of income of NFH. company. Any income which is derived from National Financial Holdings Company, then the income obtained from it will be exempted from income tax. But it should be subject to such condition, that is, it should be set up by the central government. Thank you for watching the video. Please like the video, share the video and subscribe the channel and comment if you have any queries. Thank you.